Hello everyone and welcome to the latest in my constructed video series. For Modern Masters Week here we have some Modern. This is a Naya Collected Company deck. It's pretty much the same deck that I posted in my article last week with a couple tweaks to sort of ideas for sideboard cards. But basically the core idea is that Collected Company is a really powerful card. And in particular it's really powerful in a format where the creatures that you can actually hit with it are very, very strong. And this is a deck where you can hit 1-drops that are 3/3s, like Wild Mikado. You can hit 2-drops that are 4/5s or bigger with Tarmogoyf. You can hit 3-drops that are 4/4s or a millions, as is the case with Knight of the Reliquary. As I talked about a little bit in my article, Collected Company is a powerful card not just because of the card advantage and board position that it can generate from a single card, but also because of the tactical implications of being able to deploy threats at instant speed. One of the things that is very important in Modern is being able to actually react to what your opponent's doing. There are a lot of decks that do very powerful things very quickly in Modern. I think the sort of prototypical example is Splinter Twin. Modern is a format where Splinter Twin decks can kill you, on turn 4 just by playing end of turn, Pestermite or Exarch into turn 4 Splinter Twin, and that can be a problem for a lot of aggressive decks, especially sort of aggressive decks that may have threats that are a little bit more expensive. I know that many times when I've been playing either zoo decks or other forms of just like green aggressive decks, the decks that I play, I've definitely run into the scenario where I have to decide between developing my board in some way and holding up mana for something like Path to Exile or a Lightning Bolt to give me a way to interact with what my opponent's trying to do, a way to actually stop them from sort of going off with Splinter Twin. And the issue there, of course, is that it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. If you don't play your creature and your opponent doesn't have the combo, then you're leaving yourself in a situation where you're giving them more time to actually sort of build up their resources to be able to combo you later. And if you do, and they have it, you just die on the spot. So it's a tough situation, and it's one of the reasons that in a number of decks I've actually taken to playing things like Restoration Angel, just as a threat that I can actually deploy at instant speed. And I think that Collected Company is kind of like a better version of that. Collected Company allows you to generate significant threats on the board at instant speed, which is very key to allowing you to actually keep mana open in order to be able to use your reactive cards like Lightning Bolt, like Path to Exile, even like the activation of a card like Kasali Pridemage. So here, I'm basically playing the sort of standard core Naya shell that I have been playing in a lot of different versions, but rather than playing things like maybe Thundermaw Hellkite or Stormbreath Dragon or Planeswalkers, I'm using my sort of bigger spell slot as Collected Company, which has the dynamic of allowing me to actually play an instant speed game and be able to sort of keep up with those decks in that way. One of the things that Collected Company does is significantly increase the value of actually having creatures as some of your sideboard cards. And this may be taking it a little bit too far, but my sideboard for this version that I'm playing is actually just 15 creatures. I have Core Firewalkers and Kitchen Finks that are good against burn. I have Fulminator Mage that allows you to pressure the mana of a lot of controlling or combo decks. Grim Lavamancer is excellent at interacting with creature-based combo decks. That anything with small creatures like Infect or like Elves or Malira, which have also sort of experienced a resurgence thanks to Collected Company. Kataki's War Rage takes the place of something like Stony Silence, and then I actually have Jotun Grunt. This is sort of a reaction to the popularity of the Grixis Delver decks that use cards like Gurmag Angler and Tassiger, and Jotun Grunt can do a lot to really impact your opponent's ability to use their graveyard as a resource. You can use Scavenging Ooze as well in those sort of situations, but Jotun Grunt allows you to do so as like a pretty serious sized body without requiring the same sort of mana investment of Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze can take a lot of your actual resources in order to remove your opponent's graveyard, whereas Jotun Grunt sort of does it incidentally to just as long as it's in play, which can be a pretty big deal. So this is an experimental deck. I haven't really played with this deck very much. I played some games sort of casually in the queues, but that's what we're doing now. So we're gonna jump in and see how this deck performs, and see if there's some tweaks you might want to make, some other cards you might want to experiment with, but you know, sort of just gonna give it, you know, give it a run through its paces and see how it performs. So let's do exactly that right now.